Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to do some scroll saw work on this tree of life. It's literally 14 inches, obviously by 14 inches. And the idea is to cut out all the white sections. I've incorporated my name, which is Shane, and my partner's name, Jay, also inside the tree. And we'll cut it all out. Once we've removed all the white sections, we'll get a dremel with a sanding burr on, or an engraving piece, and literally just round these edges off just to give it a little bit more shape. Remove some of this around the name just so the name stands up a little bit. Then obviously we'll cut out the full circle. Now the way I like to transfer my image onto the wood is with good old carbon paper or graphite paper. Place the image on like so, and I like to use a pen to literally go around it. It takes minutes. If you really wanted to, you could just literally put painter's tape, lined all the wood, use some glue spray. I've done it before in the past and it works fine. If you just spray that on and then stick the paper straight to the wood like so, then once you've done all your scroll saw work, you can literally just peel it off. No effort involved whatsoever. But I do prefer the carbon paper side of things, just a personal thing. And there we have it. You can see from that it's gone on no problem whatsoever. The good thing about drawing it on with the carbon, some of these sections that were quite small, I've just made them slightly bigger, just give them a bit more security, if you know what I mean. Now the blades I'm going to use today, I like to use a spiral blade, a Pegas number 5. It's the only ones I've ever used, to be honest. I really should be trying different ones. For my saw, I have to use these adapter clamps. They obviously clip on top and bottom, and then you take up your tension. Now spiral blade and straight blades, they always want to feel smooth on the way down, rough on the way up. That way you know you've got your blade in the right way. With a spiral blade, it doesn't matter which way you put it in, as long as those teeth are pointing downwards. On your cheaper saws, you get these pin blades. They obviously have a little pin at both ends. They just clip on like so. You want the teeth facing towards you. Also smooth on the way down, rough on the way up. We might just get away with it on this one if you wanted to. Inside the E could be a bit small and those pins could get in the way. In that case, you'll need a pinless blade. These literally are just like pins with no pins on, should I say. They are like pins in size wise, and they will fit into really intricate work where you've got to drill a small hole just to feed that in. It's a personal choice. If you like to work with straight blades, that's up to you. I just prefer a spiral blade. Obviously, to get on these inner cuts, we're going to drill some pilot holes in all the sections that we're going to remove. So all this will be removed. I'll just quickly go around with a pencil just to make sure we get all the bits we want. And we'll just drill a pilot hole in every one. Now, obviously, we've got quite a big area to work on. So a decent sized drill just makes it a little bit easier for feeding the blade through. Pointless doing a really minute drill hole, because I've got to try and get that over there. I've got to feed my blade underneath, try and catch it on top, put the brackets on the adapters, should I say, and it is really a pain. So the bigger the hole I can get inside here, the easier it's going to be for me to feed my blade through. Now this is recycled pine. This was a table up to 10 minutes ago. You can see from that I've cut a section out that I wanted. That will be the backer, and then that will be the front. Once all our bits are all nicely removed, we'll get the dremel with a sanding burr on, maybe a couple of engraving bits, and we'll just put some shape into this tree. Okay, let's set this spiral blade up in the saw, and we'll start cutting this one out once obviously I've drilled all the pilot holes. Right, we've drilled all our pilot holes. They're just rough and ready, remember. I do have a habit of drilling in at an angle, not having a drill press, which obviously would be more better. So to play safe, I like to drill my holes in the middle of the woods. A lot of the other guys try to drill towards the line there, just saves you coming across that little bit. You're not saving any time, are you? Nobody's in a rush. Just take your time and enjoy the little projects that you're making. So to be safe, like something like these ones here, I've been known to drill in on the line and then come out literally on that side. So I've gone at an angle. You'll see when I was drilling then, none of them are actually straight cuts, but that won't affect the cutting itself, so just bear that in mind. I always make my holes into the centre of the pieces I'm going to cut out, just for safety reasons, and I'm not going to come across and interfere with one of those little branches. Okay, we've got our spiral blade in, we've got our tension in. We'll start cutting this one out. I'll do 2 or 3 of these as we go along, and then maybe the circle. Once you've done 2 or 3 cutouts, they're all basically exactly the same. Okay, let's get going. Right, we've gone all around the tree itself, all the branches. I've just got it resting up against the window at the moment in time, just so you can see it a little bit better. Now I'm just going to use this scroll saw again and literally just cut out the full circle. There is jigs and different pieces you can make to get a perfect circle, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm just going to cut it out quickly now on the saw. Right, we made it round in one piece. We haven't lost anything. Now, I haven't touched this yet. This is literally just as I finished drawing. Sorry, should I say sawing. We've still got all that lovely sawdust there. Look, that is the only thing with those spiral blades. They do compact the sawdust in the sides, but it brushes off really easy. It worked fine on this one. If I just show the back quickly, a lot of folk do whinge on about the mess they make. I've not touched this yet, look, and all you get is that little bit of fluff in there, what you want to call it. You can actually just scrape that off with your fingers. I mean, look, seriously, I mean, that's how good it is. Obviously, we're going to sand the front a lot, but for the back, just a bit of sandpaper like so, around there, and that will clear that off. Like so, literally in seconds. So, spiral blades. Give them a try. You will either love or hate them. They're definitely not for everybody. So, okay, general tidy up time now. We can see from that we've done all our cutting. We've put the scroll saw away. Now we're literally just going to tidy it all up and start rounding it off and doing a bit more shaping to these branches so it's not so flat looking. Right, these are the general bits that I use. Just cheap eBay, made in China specials, nothing fantastic. I do use a Dremel 3000 as a rotary tool, but I can honestly say I've never purchased a genuine Dremel bit. These ones just work just as good and you get a lot more for your money. On the left, the first ones are carving bits. If you go on eBay and put in Dremel carving bits. You'll come up with these cheaper ones, and they work just fine for what I do anyway. There's always better bits out there. There's more expensive bits. But if you're just starting on this route of routing and scroll saw projects, I would recommend just getting something nice and cheap. It might not just be your thing, and don't go out and waste a lot of money on the more expensive tools. These work just exactly the same in my mind anyway. Some more your professional guys would say differently. So these are carving bits. They're quite solid. They all fit the Dremel, by the way, obviously, and they're good for carving around. We'll use some of these today. A nice little flat one. I'm going to use this one, just go around the edge of the circle, just to lower it down slightly. I don't know if we can see that. Maybe not. Okay, I'm doing apologize. Here we go. Just remember, people, I'm only filming on my mobile phone, so what we see is what we get. So they're carving bits. These are engraving bits. Same again, good old eBay. These are fantastic. These are ideal for sanding down. I'm going to use these today. Just get in between those branches and feather them in a little bit more. Plenty to go at. Very good price on those and all. And this is going to be our favourite for today, the sanding drums. We use a really small one, like so. That obviously fits on a small shaft. You get 100 of these for next to nothing. Sanding drums for the Dremel again. And they'll all come with these nice new shafts for the sanding drum to go on. You literally would just slide that on there, tighten your screw up. That makes that rubber swell out, and that clamps that onto there for you. We use a lot of these today just for the shaping and sanding. Okay, we'll pop this one on first and start going around the edges, and then we'll just quickly move through them all and putting some shape on our little tree of life. Right, that's enough shaping down and sanding for me. I'm happy with the effect we've got. It's definitely near enough for what I need. We can tell those two names, no problem. We've got a nice shape to our tree and what have you. So all that's left now for me, as always, is my boiled linseed oil. We'll coat this with linseed just to darken it back down again. Just standard boiled linseed oil. I do use it a lot. It's just a simple case of brushing it on. Now, if I was going to do a lot of these on a regular basis, you could make yourself a nice drip tray just to submerge it in and lift it out. But do I have one of those? Of course I don't. So I'm literally just going to brush it on, and hopefully we'll see how dark it will go. We'll let it dry, come back in 24 hours. Unfortunately, it'd probably take longer to put this linseed oil on than it would have done do the project, but you can see how nice it's going on the sides here. So I'll basically do the full thing with that, and then we'll come back when it's nice and dry, and we just spray on some clear just to see how we finish with it. Okay, we get the general idea from that, don't we? Right, that's it. This little project is over. I give it 3 or 4 coats of the crystal clear. That is literally just to give it a little shine. It's an indoor project as this one, so there's no need to actually put anything on. I just prefer a little bit of a glaze on it. We might just be able to see a bit of a shine there. I've got no other lighting in the shed at the moment, so this is as good as it gets really. But you can see we've got a bit of a glaze there. And that's it. It's a good inch thick, remember. We left the back like so. And this little project is finished. Now personally, if I was to do one of these again, a little bit further down the line, I would actually like to put resin inside all these different sections and make a nice stained glass effect. I think that would look quite cool. But this is actually going in the house on the wall at the moment. So another option is you could actually make yourself a little base. You've got enough in that tree trunk there, just put a nice screw through, and you could have that freestanding like so. That way you can get all the light shining through, especially if you had the resin inside. But for today's project, this is as good as we're going to get. So there we go. This little project is finished. Now it's 14 inch, obviously, by 14 inch. It's an inch thick, recycled pine. A tree of life with my name and my partner's name incorporated into it. Thank you very much for watching.